So welcome back to the podcast. This is podcast number 4. This one's going to be titled Reality Hit Us Hard, because that's what it did. She almost knocked us out.
She did knock us out.
Last time we seen you guys, we were talking about teen pregnancy when I gave birth. So it was like labor and delivery vibes. I was telling you guys how we gave birth to Addie, that whole situation. And just to sum that up, basically it was like a traumatic experience for the both of us. We had no family there to visit. We had to visit us there. We had no family to even be there for us while I was giving birth, to prepare us. Like, hey, you're okay. You know, these are the type of pains you feel. Like, we were just going in there pretty blind, but we had each other's back. And
honestly, what I think kind of eased us through it is kind of like we didn't know anything. So we didn't know what we didn't know. I was like, if we were going in there now, not that I'm more scared, but like at that age, what I know now, I would be a lot more scared heading into that hospital.
yeah, okay, like if we could go back into time and there's a mosquito trying to bite your face. Where? Did you see it? Did you catch it? You caught it? Shut the fuck up. That's disgusting. Dude, I can't believe you caught it. Yeah, so let's get into it. I honestly can't believe you caught that mosquito. But anyways.
I know. Honestly, that was a slow mosquito.
Honestly, super slow. Okay, so let's get into it. So yeah, I get what you're saying though about the whole, if we knew how scary it could have been, like back at our little kid stage. Because I mean, us now, we are young, but it's still going in there. Like, we know, how to speak up for ourselves. Hey, no, this, and this. Hey, speak to my doctor again. We're not leaving until this is done. Like, check this, check that. We're not really scared. We know what's supposed to go down. We know what's supposed to happen. And this time we aren't little kids. We don't feel stupid. I'm here. I'm having a kid. The fuck? Anyways, guys, so we're going to skip all that labor and delivery story time. If you guys want to watch it, go check out our podcast number 3 that we released last week. But this podcast, we're going to talk about how when we brought Addie home, the situation and how it just started. I feel like from then on, the day that we brought Addie home, everything just kind of started going.
Yeah, all the situations that we're going to have to be put through and that we never discussed, came alive real quick.
Plus, it was we were kids. We didn't know how to handle situations like that.
No.
So, let's get into it. Once I had Addie, we decided, I think at the hospital, we kind of decided, wait, one thing though, guys. Nathaniel didn't have a car. His parents.
I didn't have my own, no.
His parents gifted him a car, but then they later sold it and then gave him one of their own cars. A car that they already had that was sitting there. His mom ended up saying here, have this Honda that's more reliable, and instead of this Mustang, because I think the Mustang was a 2-door.
It was so no, look it, this was before Adalynn. So I got an 02 Mustang. That was before Adalynn. So obviously when Adalynn was born, we ended up selling that one, and I got an 02 Honda.
And his mom gave him that Honda and then sold the Mustang,
so I can use that one.
Yeah, she gave him that one so he could use that one with the baby.
Obviously that Honda still had its problems, so it still I still needed a more reliable car. It was decent, but it wasn't fully reliable. So
before they fixed it, because now it's actually running really
now
good.
It's actually in the shop. It's in the the gray Honda is in the shop. You remember, babe? It's in the shop.
It's right there. Your mom has it.
No, it's in the shop.
It was literally parked in front of our house right now.
No, it's not there.
Okay, guys, we're going to make a bet right here, right now. That Honda is outside of your mom's... Call. Here, you can use my phone. You can call. Okay, it just needs a transmission, but it's not horrible.
But it's still there. It's not there.
It's there right now.
It's not. How much I'll bet?
$100. We're just gonna have to wait for that bet.
Okay,
well, but I for sure won that one. But anyways,
regardless,
we'll update you guys right now.
It's not. It wasn't a fully reliable car. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So then the day that we were going home, Nathaniel's mom let him borrow her 2018 or 2016 Honda to take us home in and, you know, like be with and use for the first couple of weeks. So when we were at the hospital, the reason why I'm telling you guys this, it might sound like it's everywhere, but when we were at the hospital, Nathaniel had his mom's car. So we didn't, so in our head, we thought that you were going to take the Honda back that day and we were going to get the gray Honda.
Yeah.
So when we were sitting in the hospital room, like signing the papers, because right before you guys are discharged, you had to sign the birth certificate and some last minute paperwork, and then you're free to go.
Yes.
And it takes like a couple hours. Like that took like 4 hours.
Oh no, maybe because it was COVID.
I don't know, but Addie had already passed the test. She was in the car seat, and we were literally just waiting for like the discharge papers. And I was like, oh my God, they're taking forever. But anyways, so we were sitting in the bed and we are talking about it. I was like, oh, where are we going to go? Like, should we go to my mom's? Because keep in mind, we don't have a place of our own. So I was like, okay, like, should we go to my mom's house or should we go to like yours? And he was like, oh, let's go to my mom's house because of, what was it?
I said because we're going to obviously not go back to my mom's house. So I'm like,
for that day.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's go to my mom's house, get it out the way so we can like settle in at your mom's for the day, you know?
Yeah, because obviously we were gonna be at my mom's. So that day I was like, okay, that sounds good. Like, let's just go. But keep in mind though, like, I didn't really say anything, but in my head I was already kind of not irritated, but like embarrassed to just be anywhere but my house, because you guys are like, once you give birth, you're bleeding so much that you're just like uncomfortable, like to sit, you're uncomfortable, to like certain things, like wearing certain things you're uncomfortable with, like your body just feels so uncomfortable. So going over there, I did tell you, I was like, can we make it quick, like, because like I don't want to change a whole pad, like TMI, but not really TMI. I didn't want to change a pad, like especially like how much you're bleeding, like at his mom's. Like I just wanted to go home and like take a shower, like an actual shower. But this is where I start kind of going wrong, because I just expect you to know. I'm just like I didn't really tell you anything. I didn't tell you like I'm bleeding a lot, like, you know, because like we were just getting comfortable with each other. Like we hadn't even like peed in front of each other.
No, yeah, like my 17-year-old brain, like I wasn't thinking about like, oh, how does she feel after birth, you know?
Yeah, no, obviously not. Like nobody really like thinks, not to be like fucked up or anything, but like when you're that little, you're not thinking of like the other person.
No, not as like compared to now. Wait, no.
Yeah, I didn't say how I was feeling. I was just already kind of irritated without speaking up, I guess. So anyways, we leave and we get to his family side and we're there for a little bit. I think we were there for like an hour, 2 hours, and I was already like getting nervous, like, oh my God, I need to go. And you know, we're all like, Nathaniel's just enjoying the moment, but I just can't stop thinking about like, oh my God, I hope I do not stain myself. And I'm sitting on somebody's couch, like, you know what I mean? Like I just, so much things are going through my head, and I'm just I'm just irritated. So then finally, like I think like 4 or 5 hours later, we decide to go to my mom's house, and my mom and everybody was waiting for us because I didn't tell her like, oh hey, like I'm gonna go over here. Like I was just like, oh, we're gonna go stop by really quick, blah blah. And she's like, okay. And then 4 hours later, my mom's like waiting for her daughter. Like, okay, so think about it like in my mom's POV. Like your daughter just gave birth, like you haven't seen her in a couple of days. She had her daughter, like you're like, what the heck is going on? Like, is my baby okay? How is my baby feeling? Like me, like my daughter, how is she feeling?
Especially because of COVID, you know.
Not even that. Like, if Addie gave birth, that's scary.
No, yeah, no. I'm saying, like, especially because of COVID.
Not
like,
especially because of COVID.
She could even be with you, like, or even see you.
Oh, well, because of COVID. Yeah.
You know?
But like, it's just like, you know. So my mom was kind of sad. Like, come home, you know. Like, we want to know how you're doing, how you're feeling, what happened. And so anyways, we get to my mom's house and we just show her Addie, and we're all just enjoying the moment. And that day just pretty much ended really quick because we got there pretty late and we were all just settling in. I took my first ever shower. I felt so freaking good taking a shower. And my milk came in like that day. Oh my goodness, so embarrassing. I remember I was like standing at the dinner table and like we're all talking and like I just start leaking and I'm like,
leaking,
that's embarrassing. And I just like walked away. But yeah, so I was just like, it was like an okay day. But the reason why I tell you guys that story and I'm giving you guys so much like background info is because like I think that's the start to me just like not expressing how I feel and him not, like, me just expecting him to know, and I'm like, bruh, like, that's how our little argument started, because I was already irritated with you. Like, I remember leaving, like, your mom's house, and I was just, like, irritated because I'm like, dude, like, I wanted to go home, like, I told you, hurry up. But, like, him, like, not knowing that I, like, was feeling that way, he's just like, la-di-da-di-da-di-da, driving. But I'm
well,
just, like, in the back, like,
well, obviously, yeah, like, obviously, the me now obviously feels so bad for, like, the you then, because knowing what I know now, like, obviously, I would have checked up on you and make sure you're good and you're 100% comfortable. But yeah, at that time, I was just like, I guess after birth, everything's okay, back to normal. Like, I didn't know, like,
yeah, right, you're
I
back to
didn't know,
normal.
like, the process of, like, healing back to your normal self, you know?
Oh yeah, it takes
Like,
a while
I
because
didn't know
I
that at
think
all.
you're
I
on
didn't
your
even think
period
about
for
it.
like a whole month.
That's what I'm saying. I feel so bad because, like, that's a girl's feeling, you know? You just
It
gotta
is,
give me
and
birth.
it's not even just like a regular period. Like, it's like you're flushing out so much, like, of those things, like your stomach in there.
No,
Like,
yeah.
that's why you're like, they suggest you wear Pampers.
Why? Because, like, it just leaks
It's
out
just,
sometimes?
yeah, and you're just more comfortable. Like, it's more secure. It's like on you,
No, yeah.
you know. So, anyways, this time though, we did decide, like, with this baby number 2, like, I'm like, we're going home.
Well, and honestly, that's like the situation we're in now because obviously we have our own home. So,
Yeah,
of
yeah, we
course, we're
have
not
our own
going to be
home.
stopping at nobody's house but our home, you know?
Yeah, we're not stopping nowhere. I just told them, I was like, no, we're not going nowhere.
And that's
We're gonna
normal.
go home.
That's how it should be.
And yeah, and I at first I was like, maybe people can come over, but I don't know about that day. I think we would.
Maybe like the next day because we're going to settle in that night, you know, to make sure everything's
Yeah, and
okay
maybe the next
here.
day, but I think, like, settling in, we would just have to, like, yeah, just get comfortable, have Addie and, like, enjoy her
Just
sister.
enjoy the moment of what
Yeah,
happened, you
just
know?
enjoy the
Enjoy
moment.
the new member.
Yeah. So now from there on, Nathaniel did not have school. He only had work, and, like, his work, like, he worked like maybe 4 hours 3 times of the week. And then I didn't have school yet. It hadn't started yet, and I didn't take summer school. So we were basically with each other, like, a lot of the time.
Yeah, for a good amount of time, we're pretty much with each other. I was only working, like you said, like probably like 4 days out of the week for like 4 hours.
After that day, I feel like we kind of started enjoying each other, like I said, because Nathaniel's schedule, it just all worked out really well. Like, we were just enjoying Addie, enjoying each other. And from from that day, look, before that day, like when we brought Addie home, Nathaniel had suggested, like, this idea, like, hey, how about we live like half here and half there, which is like half at his mom's and half at my mom's. And I remember just being like, no, like, I just want to live at my mom's. Like, no, I just want to live at my mom's. But, like, we could never, like, agree, like, hey, this is what's happening and this is our schedule. Like, we never agreed. So in his head, he just thought, like, oh, half here, half there. In my head, I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm staying here at home. So we never really had, like, an actual conversation about it.
No, like I think we're too like we already knew the situation we're in. I think we just wanted to go day by day and now like address the situation and actually like settle on a plan.
Yeah,
Like we
because
don't
we
want
would
to
fight
like
about it
yeah.
all the time. Remember, we would fight,
No,
like, and
yeah.
that was, like, annoying. So we just didn't want to fight anymore. So we just, like,
That's basically what it
ignored it.
was.
But even though, like, it was actually something that we should have had a conversation about. So we did not have a conversation about it. And I think, Nathaniel, you told your, like, mom that, like, that was gonna happen. Like, hey, we're gonna do 50-50.
Yeah, I told my mom, she's like, so how, what's the like situation gonna be like? And I told her, I was like, oh well, I still want to be here, you know, like I still want to live, like I still want to live here with you guys, and I want to still be with them because I know for sure there is never gonna be a night that I wanted to be without you guys, you know. I wanted to be with you guys every single night, whether it was over there or over here. So I told my mom, yeah, it's gonna be 50-50. That's what I told her.
Yeah. See, and what I would tell my mom and what I would tell him is that, like, no, it's not gonna happen, because keep in mind, like, my mom, like, her house, it's a 3-bedroom. I have there's 4 of us. There's 4 girls, and then my mom and my stepdad. Before even having Addie, me and my older sister shared a room, and my 2 younger sisters shared a room, and it was always like that. We always did that. And so now, me having a kid, like, the whole, like, house was thrown off. So my mom was like, okay, well, Veta would need her own room because Nathaniel's gonna go, and she can have, like, it'd be Nathaniel, Addie, and Veronica in one room. And then another room, it would be, like, my older sister and my middle sister, and then my little sister would just, like, sleep with my parents, like, in, like, a bed in their room. So, like, my mom's situation was completely different. Like, she, like, I had to be home. Like, there was no way it was like, oh yeah, I'll be here around for 2 days. Like, there's a whole empty room. Like, that doesn't work. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Like, my mom's like, hey, like, if you're gonna be here, you're gonna be here. If you're not gonna be here, you're not gonna be here, because I can't do that to your sisters. So I already knew, like, I'm gonna stay home because I like, my sisters are squishing into a room just so there could be a room for us, like, and we're not using it. So like I said, I was very like confident, like, no, I'm not doing that. But so that day that we brought Addie home, I believe we stayed at my mom's like that entire week. And then on the weekend, we went to go visit. Like, we would always go though, guys. Like, we would always go to his mom's, like, for dinner or just to go during the day. Like, that was something that we always did. Like, we were there, like, honestly, like 75% of the time was at your mom's.
Yeah, it was just to
because
be there.
because like you were more comfortable there. So like we were always like driving over there. It goes only a 10-minute drive, but we would go to your mom's a lot of the time just to be there. But we would go back to my mom's house at like night to sleep and like be there in the morning, and then we would go back to your mom's house.
Yeah, and that was when we had all the time.
Yeah, that's when we had the time. Yeah. This is before he started working. So it was like we weren't just not visiting. Like, we were visiting, but just like we just weren't sleeping there. And so on the weekends, I remember Nathaniel was saying like, oh, like we should spend the night. And I was like, like, my mom was already like, me and my mom, we had already had a conversation. She's like, hey, if you're going to be here, you're going to be here. You know, like, there is no like going over there and then coming over here. Like, you just can't do that, especially with a newborn. Like, you just can't do that. Like, it's not doable. Like, my mom was like hitting me with the truth. Like, it's not, because like, imagine now doing that, like taking a whole backpack and then a newborn with you. Like, it's just, you just can't do that. You have to have like a place to be.
Like, to what you're saying, you had this whole conversation with your mom, but you never told me, like, obviously
we did have a conversation though. I did tell you like, oh, I don't want to do that.
No, but you didn't say like, oh, but your mom was going to give up the room if you didn't stay there. Like, you didn't let me know any of that. Like, I just thought like the room was there.
We did though. I remember.
You told me way later. Like, when it was borderline, like, we're down bad already.
I don't remember that.
It wasn't, okay, but yeah, it wasn't right off the bat. You told me, no. You told me way later. That's why, like, it was kind of like, you already knew, obviously, the conversation you had with your mom, but I didn't know any of that. So I thought, like, I wasn't thinking about the situation. Like, okay, there's 3 girls with only 2 rooms for them. I mean,
but it's obvious.
It's obvious, but like I said, at that age, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking about us. Like, it just flew over my head.
Yeah, see, and we didn't really have a conversation. That was a problem.
And that's why we fought a lot.
There was no communication. But I know that's not really why we fought a lot, though.
No, not that specific thing, but just the no communication part.
Yeah, the no communication did play a big role. So, basically, guys, we were just back and forth on that. And on the weekends, like, he would like be like, hey, let's spend the night. And so I remember like that second week that Addie was born, like she was like 2 weeks old. We did spend the night at his house, but it's just like, it didn't feel as like comfortable, if that makes sense, because I was always up earlier than you. Mm-hmm. And so I would be like, hey, let's get up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I'd be like, hey, let's get up. And he's like, okay. And like, he would get up. But like, that's the thing, is that like at my mom's house, like I could just like, I would just leave him in the room.
No, yeah.
I would leave him in the room, and then I would make us breakfast, and then I would do like, like I always had like a little routine. So I think that's when things started just kind of getting like me irritated, where I'm like, dude, I don't want to be in here, like in the room.
Yeah, you felt locked up.
Yeah, like I felt like I was waiting for you. Mm-hmm. Like I wanted to take a shower, and I would like wait for you, because I didn't want to just like go and grab my own towel, And that's my fault too, that I was so damn shy, because nobody made me feel like I couldn't. Like your mom or your sisters never made me feel like I couldn't, but I just felt like I'm just super shy. I'm just like, no, like I don't want to do that by myself. No, I don't want to do that. Yeah. And I remember also one time, I was like, I needed to take like a poop, TMI, and like his sister was in the shower, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. And he's like, you can go to the restroom downstairs. I was like, hell no, because like, what if somebody hears me? It echoes. So like things like that, like I just wasn't comfortable there, you guys.
I'm gonna lie, dude, and that girl takes a shower forever.
Yeah, his sister would take like a 2-3 hour shower, dude. So I'll be like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
I know you're watching it. You take fucking showers forever, like hour and a half.
Yeah, not 2-3 hours, but like it was like a long shower, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I cannot hold this. So like I would like, yeah, guys, it just like I wasn't comfortable, Mm-hmm. So anyways, I think at one point though, like it got to the point where your mom would like ask you to like, hey, why are you guys, you said 50-50 and it's not happening that way.
Yeah. So that right there is basically kind of where everything kind of went sideways. My mom got involved, and she was very like kind of like strict on me. Like I felt like she didn't want to let go of like the kid me, so she wanted me home as much as possible, even though obviously I had a kid and I was trying to figure out a new balance to my new life. She wanted me there like on her own time, you know?
Okay, so basically, like, after when she said, like, the whole 50-50 thing, like, hey, you said you're going to do 50-50 and you're not doing it, like, what would you say? Because, like, obviously, like,
I in the beginning, I was so not scared, but I was so I just it was to me it was an awkward conversation. Like I didn't know how to bring it up to her and say I don't think we're gonna do that 50-50 anymore.
were you scared or were you, like,
I think I didn't want to
nervous?
not let her down. That's not the word I want to use, but I think I didn't want to
Hurt her feelings?
hurt her feelings. I don't want to hurt her feelings. So to me, so that delayed. So I was just basically beating around the bush. I was not straight up with her and said, "Mom, we're gonna do something different. I know I told you this, but we're gonna end up going with this route." You know, I was beating around the bush. I really just didn't want to hurt her feelings.
But
So
do you think, like, doing that is what caused, like, the
no,
whole.
honestly,
Yeah,
yeah,
like.
honestly, yeah. And she told me like once everything was done, like, well, you told me this and you told me that, but you're not doing it. So then it got her kind of
I
mad, I
think,
guess.
though, the problem was that, like, you weren't thinking for yourself.
That too, you know.
So like I just feel like he was hearing me and then he was hearing her, and like the like, and not even necessarily like it was like that, but it was like I was telling him like I can't do that. Like I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go to your mom's and I'm not going to do that. Like it's just not going to happen. And he was just like, "Okay." And then he would go to his mom's and his mom would be like, "Hey, like when are you guys coming?" He's like, "Oh, this weekend, this weekend."
I think I just wanted to make both of you guys happy at the same time when in reality I really couldn't do that. I had to do what I had to do, you know, and I should have told you straight up like, yeah, we're going to do this, and I should have just told my mom like that's not going to happen anymore. I can't do that instead of just trying to make everybody happy because in the end it was basically kind of I felt like I'm trying to please you, but in order to please her, I have to like diss what you're saying. In order to please you, I have to diss what she's saying. I think I
Mhm.
didn't put my position first, and I did not put my foot down. Like I was a dad, I had to be where my kid was at, and I had to do what I had to do to be a father, instead of being a son at that time.
Yeah, and it's hard because you're only 17. Like how are you supposed to do that? You know, like your mom was like your mom when you're a kid you think like, oh my gosh, my mom knows everything, you know, like so I just can't, I can't go against what she's saying. She knows what's right for me, blah blah blah. And then wait, at the time too though, because I remember like we had a conversation about this because I kind of started catching on that it was like not really your idea of the 50-50, like it was you pushing it. I felt like I was like, wait, like what do you mean? Because like I remember one time at night we got into like a little disagreement because I can't remember. He was like, oh, let's go to my mom's, and it was already late, and I was like, no, and he was like, but I already said that we were gonna go, and I was like, okay, but tell them no, like it's already late, like Addie's asleep, like blah blah. I just took a shower, like just say no. And like he kind of looked stressed, and like I know it's the whole I don't want to let her down and I don't want to do this, but you had said something and I kind of felt so horrible because it was like you had said like, oh, it's because I don't want to be that brother, like the one that doesn't come around anymore.
No, well, because I just hear a
Like
bunch of stories. And I see it
I
for
don't
how
want
it
to
is
be the one that
sometimes.
like goes away. And I was like, what? Like, what are you saying? But like, I remember sitting down like in bed and like listening to what you said. And I was like, oh, I think he's talking about, you know how like the men usually are the ones that are like
The
pulled
ones that
away
don't
from the
come,
family
yeah, they don't
that
come around
don't
for
come around.
holidays, and they're just with the wife, and they're all fucking whipped. I don't want to be that
Yeah.
guy. That's not me.
And but see, that wasn't what I was doing though. That's my thing. That's what
No,
like
yeah,
I think like hearing that, like I felt for him, but then I also got frustrated because I was like, but I'm not doing that. Like I wasn't doing that. It wasn't like, oh, you're not gonna be with your family anymore. We're gonna be with my family only. Like, no, guys, I actually genuinely liked going to his mom's house. There was even times where I would be like, hey, what is your mom making today?
no, yeah.
Like, tell her to make the tacos. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's go over here. Let's go over there.
I think it was just the timing. Like we're like you're down to go. Like there's no issue with you like
It
going.
was,
You know,
yeah, I was never going. Like,
it
I
just
liked the holidays. I liked
yeah.
doing
You wanted
stuff
to
with
go.
him.
I think it was just my mom. She wanted me there like at a specific time.
But we would go a lot though, even more than once a week. We would go like 4 times a week. We would go like every weekend. Like we went a lot. We went a
You
lot.
know, we did. I think the main thing
Cause
was
like
that we weren't
all
spending the
Addie's
night.
videos, yeah, we just weren't
We
spending
weren't
the
spending the
night,
night.
but we were going a lot. And so I once that like little argument started happening, like I would just see him be stressed.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Like
I was
he would
stressed
be
out a lot.
stressed, and then like you had told me at one point you were like, oh, well, like I feel like I have to be there more. Like my siblings miss me. And
Yeah, and for me, I like adding on to that. I obviously I didn't really know that much at the time. I should have just. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. I shouldn't have been worried about being a brother and being a son. I should have just focused on being a father first.
so yeah, I think at one point in the relationship and like all of this happening, I was just kind of getting irritated. Like I was like, okay, I'm literally pulling this guy. I don't know why. I was just kind of like against the whole idea of like making you feel bad for being a good dad, you know? And I don't think that's what they were doing, but I just felt like it was kind of
And to be honest,
like you were like I don't think that I don't know. I can't really put like explain exactly how I was feeling at that moment, but I was just tired of the constant talking about like, hey, they miss me, hey this, hey that, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry they miss you, but like this is it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I just, to me, I'm like, I don't know. Like,
no, like, I'll say,
I was getting irritated. Like, it was just too much for me.
no, I'll say kind of like long story short. Like I'll say like this. I think my mom had her own issues. There's just too much backstory that I'm not gonna get into of how like our relationship, because obviously like I just don't know how to explain it. We didn't live together. I live with my grandparents, so that's why.
Yeah, he didn't. He wasn't with his mom.
And I think.
Well, he was. She was there.
Okay,
but
okay. I'm gonna say it again. Sorry. I'm gonna say it like this. Long story short, because there's so much to say, I'm just gonna put it in the shortest terms possible. My mom was in my life, and she was actively there. She was a good mother. I had attachment issues to my grandparents. I stayed with my grandparents, so I lived with them my whole life up until literally a year and a half, 2 years before I got you pregnant. So once I moved with my mom officially, before those 2 years, she thought she could have me, have me back a little bit longer and, kind of like make up that time that she missed.
But she didn't miss it because she was there. She was there.
She was there.
But like he didn't live with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because his mom was there.
Because I chose that. I chose to be with my grandparents, and she's like, okay, but I'm gonna see you every day. That is my situation. So I think she probably had her own little issues, and once I got you pregnant, everything just exploded.
Yeah.
So I think she wanted me there because of her own feelings, not rather than me being gone. It's just her feelings of I want my son. I think that's how it went. And to me, it sucks, but it added a lot of stress on me and a lot of stress on you.
A lot
so
of stress.
it created just like a big old ball of tension and misunderstanding. Like
I just feel though it could have all been avoided if your mom would have like talked to us.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like it was like a lot of arguing. Like it was like, oh, calling you, crying, and then it was like me like, why are you like, what's going on, like what do they want, like, because like I remember it wasn't really necessarily like a her thing. It was just like I felt like she still wanted you to be a little boy.
No, yeah, I think that's what it was too.
And it's not a bad thing because as a mom, I can understand where she's coming from, and I could be like, oh, okay, like I can feel. But like as your wife, I was kind of like,
no, that takes
it hurt because
it takes
I'm
a big old jump. Like, yeah, it's bad. I understand that 100%.
As a mom and as a wife, it's completely like two different things. Like it was just too much for me to handle, especially because I was so young. I'm like, okay, is this guy going to eventually just like listen to his mom, move back over there because I'm being stern and I'm saying like, no, I'm not gonna go live over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he going to eventually just pack his shit up and go? Because he was super stressed about it. Like, long story short, like those were our arguments. Like, he would get so stressed about it and I'd be like, dude, Nathaniel there, like, you're like, because he would be like sad at my house.
No,
like
yeah.
at my mom's, and I'm like,
it was
oh my
almost like
goodness.
that was like where my like the depression kind of was gonna start. It was gonna start right there.
Yeah, because it was just he was sad, and then you would get a call from them, and then you would get stressed out.
Cause like it's yeah, cause to me like when they weren't talking to me about like me being back at home, I'll be like fine, and then when every time that I'll get a call or they'll mention something, it'll just add on top of my stress, and and I just didn't want to talk about it at all, but I didn't clear the air with them.
Yeah, he never did clear the air because of course, like you guys see your
I just
your
didn't know how to
mom
handle the
sad.
situation.
You see your mom sad. No one's gonna be like emotionless about it. Like you cared. Like that's not a bad thing. But also, yet again, he didn't know. Like we're kids. You don't know how to put your foot down when it comes to your
Mm-mm.
parents. Like nobody knows how to do that. So basically that was a lot of our arguments, just a lot about like, hey, you're here, you're not there, like, hey, when it comes to like coming out of work, like you have to come to me and Addie.
Yeah, and after work, to get my mom or anybody to not say anything, I will go after work and be a kid again. I'll go after work and I'll take a shower and I'll literally play like a game of Fortnite with my cousins for like a little bit, maybe for like an hour and a half,
And
just
then he
to,
would eat dinner there,
and then I'll go home to them,
and
which
then he would come
is
home, but
which
that's
is
like an
wrong.
extra like
No,
3 hours,
and that's
like on
wrong.
top of the shift. And I'm just sitting there like with Addie, like excited that you're like, when is he coming home?
Yeah,
So like I think that's when my anger, like I was already getting angry. Like I'm like, dude, you know what? Like I think that is so fucking wrong.
it was
Like I
wrong.
think that is so wrong. Like because like I've always like I grew up seeing my stepdad being very active in like our lives as kids. Like he would be the one to pick us up from school. Like he would be like he's very active. Like I remember one time he was our coach for baseball, like very active. Like mornings, he made our breakfast every morning. And so when I seen that, I'm like, no, you don't do that. Like after work, you don't go and just chill. Like you come home. And so home, we didn't have a home,
Mm-mm.
but we were the home. So
That's
like
yeah,
I
exactly.
was getting like frustrated with that. So at that point, I had already started developing like postpartum depression, but then it would just get, I think my thing with the postpartum depression was more like it was reminding me things of like my childhood.
Hmm.
Like, oh my God, is Addie not gonna have an involved dad? Is he not gonna have this? Is he not gonna have that? Just because like I grew up with a dad that was kind of babied by his mom. I didn't
Hmm.
grow up with him, by the way. So I didn't grow up with dad. But I had a dad that was like babied by his mom, like, hey, yeah, like, blah, blah, you're okay. Like, he wasn't the best dad. He wasn't even a good dad. He wasn't even a dad. But like, his mom constantly like told him, like, hey, it's okay. Hey, it's okay. Like, you're a shitty dad, but that's okay. Like, and like,
Because you're my son, type of thing.
yeah, because you're my son, like that. Like, you know what I mean? And so seeing that, and then also like picking up on these little things where your mom would be like, "Oh, come home." I was
Yeah.
like, "No, you're not supposed to do that.
Nah,
Like,
you're
don't go,
you're
don't."
scared that
Yeah, like
it
I thought you were
was.
gonna end up like that. So I was connecting two completely different people, completely different. I guess that's what started it for me, like the whole depression. Like I was already getting over it. Like I was already like ready to argue with you. Like I wasn't sad. I was more angry. So like any time that he would be like, "Hey, let's do this," I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that no more. No, 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 no." Because now I'm like, "You're not like I know, like I don't want to do it." Like I was not willing to make him happy because I wasn't happy.
Mhm.
So like anything like that had to do with like, "Hey, I really want to do this," I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that." Cause okay, right after that, guys, like basically that sums up the first like 8 months of Addie's life. Ten
Literally.
months because we just weren't agreeing on that thing. Like I felt like they were pulling him, and I was just being reminded of my childhood. And
Yeah,
I'm
so
just
just
like
picture
bullshit.
that for like the first eight
Yeah,
months, literally
picture
back
that
and
we're
forth
just literally fighting all the time
for eight
about
months
the
straight.
same damn thing. So eventually, it got to the point where I think like you would start saying things. Like you would
That's
start
when,
like calling them out, like, "Hey, don't do that. Hey, don't say that."
yeah, because I was getting older already. I was like 18. Once I started speaking up, because obviously the 8 months was too much already, I needed to set the record straight and move on. So I started speaking up, and my mom didn't like it. And I was saying, hey, this is what's gonna happen. I just want you to understand, and let's get through this. Whatever. Just let me do what I gotta do. I'm not a bad son for doing what I have to do. and I'll come around when I can. And she didn't. I don't think she liked that. I just said
He
that.
didn't, yeah, like putting his foot down because
Yeah.
she wasn't used to that. Like Nathaniel was always just like a chill kid, like go with the flow, like yeah, all right, yeah,
No, yeah. That's
okay.
pretty much
And
how it
so like
was.
him now being like a little bit like loud and being like, hey, no, like I don't agree. Hey, I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
that.
So it was a big old slap in the face to her of me growing up
He,
and her not wanting to let it happen.
so right after that, Nathaniel finished school. And I think it was like your first year that you were done with, and then he starts his second year. He started his second program. You finished your first program, and then you were going on to your second program. Yes.
Yeah, I did my first college course, and I finished my first college course, and I was gonna go start my other one.
I had basically told him, I was like, hey, like you're making money now. Like, should we start applying for houses? Like, we talked to a realtor, we talked to a lender, and that's when we did like they pre-approve us. And I was like, oh my God, like we could get a house. So we start like house shopping and we're like looking around for houses. And during this time, we're like, okay, like they had already given us an amount, like, hey, you're going to need $20,000 saved, let's just say. And I think at that time we probably had like 18,000. And we were like, oh my gosh, like not only do we need our down payment.
I think we needed 30,000 down, and we were already at 25.
It was something like that. We was like yeah, I do remember we had a lot of money saved. We were like, oh my God, okay, we gotta save. And we were just like talking about like how are we gonna save money fast. So we talk about it and I'm like, I'm gonna get a job. And he was like, what? Like, what do you mean?
I didn't like it because
He
I
doesn't-
wanted you to be home. I was like, I don't want it. These guys out here, like,
oh my God, this toxic guy.
I'm like, these guys out here are freaking like animals, bro. So
No, yeah, okay, guys. So I decided to get a job.
I was
right?
like, no, man.
And
no one hit on you.
guess where I get it, guys.
Where I worked at, and I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem.
I know, yeah. We're gonna get more into that. I think
I
we
was
should
like,
do
go
like
ahead.
a quick little 10-minute segment of us talking about how it was when we worked together, because that shit was funny.
I like seeing you. I like seeing you.
Dude, but there was toxic. Like this guy would be like, why was the car seat down? And I'm like, what?
Okay, bro. We don't need to talk about all this shit right now.
No, we're gonna talk about it in a different
Later.
Let us know if you guys want us to hear about it, because we worked together.
Nothing
But
nothing
we
bad
didn't
happened.
work together though.
No, we didn't work together.
I was like a selector, so I was like just like a random.
I was in the maintenance crew
of 100 people, and he was in the maintenance crew. So he like, guys, he would be whipping a golf cart, and I would be like all on my knees putting things away. And anyways, guys. So I decided to get a job, and I was when we talked about it, we had like an actual serious conversation, and I was like, okay, like we're gonna get the house, because we ended up putting the down payment on this house. Like we paid for not the down payment, we put the money down for we put the money down for the lot. And keep in mind, he's still not getting it, and I'm just like, okay, like I start my job December 20th. Right? I started it like right before Christmas.
Bro, you lasted like 3 weeks.
No, I didn't. I stayed until February. I lasted 2 months.
A month, if that, Vettel. It was like December, and that was it.
No, wait, what? How? Okay, so if it was just December, then if I started December 20th, was it only December? That would be a week. No.
You lasted like 3 weeks.
No, I did not last 3 weeks, Nathaniel. I did not last 3 weeks. Do not say I lasted 3 weeks. Anyways, so, and I have I did not just get only one check. I got 3 checks. Yes, I did.
So a month and a half.
I ended up getting a job, and we decided like, hey, like it's not gonna be doable. Like living at my mom's, like we have nobody to watch Addie. Like at the time, I think his mom took time off of work. We talk about it, and we're like, I'll have somebody to watch Addie. Like this is gonna happen. Like it's gonna work out perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I started work at like 4 a.m.
Honestly,
it wasn't doable to drop Addie off.
I hated the routine.
Yeah,
like I like you being home, and you'll get up at 4 a.m, and I'll be like, where you going?
I
like
know.
I'll be like, that sucks. And I'd be with Addie. She's all like, yay little. Big. I'd be like, damn, I just mean you.
Yeah. So okay. So I ended up getting the job, and I would go to work, and we were living at my mother-in-law's, and I wouldn't ever see like my mom or anybody, because like it was just like our schedules were hectic.
Yeah. Like,
and then but I remember going still to my mom's for dinner. So like I still made time to go see my mom's.
And that's why we're staying at my mom's. Yeah, it was because just you started working, and it was more doable
to have somebody watch Addie, because when I would get there, he would already be gone.
Yeah, because she was on first shift and I was on second shift. My shift started at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and you started like at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, and
you
I would
got
get
out
like
at
at 2.
1 or 2.
Yeah, so we never really seen each other. Like we only slept with each other. And so it was really bad on our relationship.
It was
It
bad.
was bad on like I just felt like we would always be arguing with like I feel like we could like his mom would get mad because like our like we were just so sleepy and so tired that we would like throw Addie's diapers. And like I know that's nasty because that would be kind of like if somebody threw diapers on the floor, like wet ass diapers on a carpet, like obviously it stinks, you know? So like we would like always be bumping heads, like, you know, like, hey, you guys aren't doing this.
Okay, hold on. Before you go, we didn't just throw diapers and leave them in the living room, just so you guys don't get that shit confused.
Oh yeah, no, no,
No,
no, no.
you left that shit like,
Okay,
wait,
yeah,
no,
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 like we
no,
would change
no.
Addie's like.
And we'll throw them just in the trash can in the regular restroom and not outside.
Yeah, like
we'll leave them in
that
the trash
was the
can.
problem is that we weren't throwing them like outside in the big trash.
Yeah.
Like we were throwing them in the trash, like in the restroom.
Just in the restroom, just leave it there.
And so that they didn't like that because it would smell.
And I understand that.
Yeah, so like we would get into arguments like that, or like we would get into arguments about like.
Oh, I think she wanted me on a cleaning schedule too. My mom wanted me to start cleaning, and I get it. It's nothing bad. It's just that like I'll be up and down all the time.
Yeah, because keep in mind, like,
I was going to school
he was
and
already
working.
Yeah, he was going to school and working Monday through Friday. I was working, and then like Addie, like she was still like I would work, and then like I would go home at like 3 o'clock. And honestly, at that time, I think they had season, so I would work like 12-hour shifts from 4 to 4, and I would come back and I would be so tired, and I would take care of Addie, take her a shower, take me a shower, and I would be in bed by like 7. Because I was so tired, and then to be up again at 3 because Addie was still waking up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, she was.
So it was a lot for us. Like it was a lot for us. We really like couldn't even grip our new schedule. Like it was 2 weeks of that.
Addie was at the point to where when you get up, she'll wake up.
Yeah, and so then he would be like
crying.
sleepy because he still had to go to school and still had to work, and he would only have like 4 hours of sleep. So it was really hard on our bodies. And at my mom's, we didn't have to worry about cleaning or cooking because like my mom took care of that, and I wasn't working. So like I would help out like making dinner sometimes, like, but like this new schedule it was hard for us to like, I guess, find a balance. And so your mom would kind of be like, hey, like you guys need to help clean, and you guys need to wash towels.
No, yeah.
And you guys need to do this, and you guys need to do that. And we're like, oh my god, wait.
My mom is a clean freak to this day, but we're on a schedule. Like my sister would do towels. This week will be like, okay, I got to do the fucking restroom and like deep cleaning, like the toilet, the shower, the sink, and mop the floor, all of it, like everything. Like so
a 2-hour deep.
It was a deep cleaning. It was like every week. She was strict on cleaning. So it ended up you would take that for me.
I would have to clean it. I remember cleaning it once. I cleaned it once because after that, like I think the next time I told you to clean it because I was like, I don't know how they like their things cleaned. Like I clean at my mom's, but I don't like your mom has a specific way to clean. And that's not bad. Everybody has a specific way to clean. We all like to clean our own houses specific ways. Like I would probably be pissed seeing somebody fucking wipe down like my mirrors with Lysol. Like, what the fuck are you doing, you know? So like
I did that with Lysol one time.
Ew.
I didn't know.
Not here, you know what I mean? Yeah, like at his mom's. But like that's my thing. Like that wasn't my mom's house. Like I couldn't fuck up. So I would be like, I'm not cleaning here anymore. Like you clean. And he would be like, okay. And like so like I think one time he missed it. You didn't clean or something. And
yeah, because I was tired.
But it, like point was like
she got pissed at me.
Yeah, we were bumping heads like a lot of the time. Like it was like, hey, you didn't do this, hey, you didn't do that, hey this, hey that, and we were like, I was so tired. So like at that point I felt like I didn't want to be like in the way, so I just stopped going. Like I would go and pick up Addie, and then I would leave to my mom's, and I would
go be over there.
Over there for dinner, and then come back and take a shower and go to sleep.
Yeah, like, you used to want to feel like you're at somebody else's house where you felt like you had to tiptoe.
Yeah, because I didn't know like.
And I understand that.
I would get there and they would already have dinner, and like I didn't want to sit there and be like, hey, can like you guys serve me a plate, or like, hey, can I get a plate? Like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know how to ask. I didn't know like what to think. Like I didn't know like, and I wouldn't even like let your mom talk. I could just be like, bye. Like yeah. I would just leave just because like I was like nervous. I didn't want to piss anybody off. I didn't want to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So guys, I think that was a start to like the big argument. Finally, I think I don't know what had happened, but me and Nathaniel one time we were sitting in the car, and I think we were just both so stressed and we had gotten into an argument because like I think we missed each other mainly.
Yeah.
And it was just like work was too much. This was too much. Okay, guys, we're gonna have to go flip flopping for a little bit. But Nathaniel's mom did surprise him at one point in like 2021 with it, or 2020 with a 2020 Mustang. So
and this was before we got the house.
Yeah, this was before we got the house, and it was in her name.
It was in her name, and I was working at Lowe's.
He was working at Lowe's, and he got a Mustang, and it was super cheap because it was again in her name, and she has really good credit. So I think we were paying like $400. $420 for 40 for like a brand new Mustang.
Yeah, it was brand new. It was brand new. Like, okay, it wasn't a 5.0. So all you car guys, it was not 5.0. I get it. It was an EcoBoost.
That's not funny though. It's not like, don't make fun of yourself. That's a nice car to have.
Yeah, I know, but to the car community, they're like, get that shit out of here. Bro. I understand, bro. I understand. I get it. It's not no 5.0. No, it's not no V8. It's a V6. Okay, I get it.
Okay, but that doesn't matter though. You were young, paying your own car payment. Then we got a house. Like, anyways.
Okay, whatever.
Don't beat yourself up about it. Mom surprised him with the Mustang, right? She surprises him with the Mustang, and Nathaniel has this brand new car, and I bought a car off my parents that was like their car that they were selling to get a new car, and that one was a
2008 Honda
Accord. Yeah, so
which is my car right now.
Yeah, so I had my own car, which was the Honda Accord, and he had his Mustang that he used right after, like he had that gray Honda. But at one point we both had Hondas. You had the gray Honda and I had the white Honda, and then I got the white Honda.
Yep.
And he got his Mustang, right? But Nathaniel,
right, before we go, sorry to cut you off. That was very selfish of me. I wanted to feel like a kid. I wanted to feel like I wanted a car. You know, when you get out of high school, you want a badass car. I wanted a badass car, and I was selfish for that. Just putting it in there, I understand. It was a hell of a selfish move. I should have got a 4-door, like a Honda, like a Nike.
Okay, but it's okay.
I know,
like,
but I'm saying though, like
this is like little kid him. Yeah, this is like nobody can really like, even if anybody has anything to say about it, it's like anybody would do it.
I wish my fucking parents didn't buy me that shit.
Yeah, because now looking back at it.
I wish someone said, bro, like don't get that shit.
Anyways, guys, he has this like brand new car, right? And I have like an older car. Nothing was wrong with it. The Honda was really good running. It's running badass right now. Yeah. And so Nathaniel was like, no, like he didn't feel comfortable. Like, I'm not gonna go to work and like you're gonna go to work and like take Addie.
An older car, even though like I let her just use the Mustang because it was a better, newer, updated car, because I felt like it's better for you, my girlfriend, to take my kid. But I didn't like the fact that I was just a 2-door. Like but after a while, it got annoying. Like taking her in and out.
The point is though that I used the Mustang and he used my Honda, and it was just like that. Like it was his car and he was paying for it, but I drove it. Like all the time. I drove it to my last appointment. Like it was like my car.
It was like her car, and I felt like, you know what? I felt like it was right that I did that she drove the newer and a safer car compared to an older car that may break down.
But yeah, so point is, guys, like his mom did get him a car, and he was selfish about it for getting a 2-door car. It was like I still drove it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it was basically her car.
Because it was I drove it. Like if I wanted to go to the gym, like that, like I used that car.
Yeah, like when we go to work, like we went to the same workplace. She took the Mustang.
Like I would leave at 4 a.m. and I would he would be home, like, and the Honda would be right in front of me, and I would get in the Mustang and I would go to work, and then he would get in the Honda and go to school. Like it was really like it was my car, like. So I had a Mustang. So one day I get out of work and I'm sitting there with Addie, and like his mom had said something like, oh, Vero, like your car insurance is here. I kind of already felt like your mom felt some way, because I remember like even before I got my license, I learned how to drive in that Mustang.
He taught me how to drive in that Mustang, dude. That shit was like, I just trusted you that much. Because I knew my driving skills were kind of pretty good, so I was like, nah, I'm teaching her how.
Shut the fuck up. Anyways, guys, so like I was like driving that car, and I think at one point his mom had said like, oh, like
she hit her with like, oh, like your car insurance is due, as like part of like a little joke. You know, like oh, you drive it
more than my son does.
So like this is your car.
So you pay for the car, yeah. And me, I took it like that's embarrassing. Like
you took it like, is that like a little hit at me, like. like, why are you like, why am I driving it so much? You know,
like I took it.
you took
Well,
like a little
because
hit, you know,
yeah, I
like,
did take it like a hit, but also because like she had already said that I couldn't drive it. Okay, because when I was learning how to drive, I drove it, and she had already said like, hey, like she can't drive it because she's not under the insurance policy.
No, yeah, my mom was strict on that because she didn't want, because obviously, yeah, I get it, it's under her name, and as a adult, I see why.
Yeah.
I see like, okay, why is someone unlicensed driving? So she was scared. Like,
But
I
then I
don't
got
want
my
to.
license.
No, then you got
like,
your
a month
license,
later.
but but my mom kept spazzing out and kept saying the same thing. So then to me, that started being a problem. Like, okay, she has her license already. What's the big deal now?
Yeah, so like, and I feel like it's because she pulled out a car for her son, and like I was the one driving it.
Yeah, so I
So
felt like
I
she was.
understand where she was coming from, but at the same time, not really, because like,
No, I feel like she was in the wrong.
yeah, because it was constantly always brought up, like, oh, like there was always like little like she would go tell you something, like a little comment.
Yeah,
and
and
like,
I didn't think it was an issue up until one day she brought it up and we had like a real conversation. So I was like, wait, what?
yeah, so
That shit hit me sideways.
kind of felt like she kept making these like little small comments, and then like it was like also um like that comment itself kind of hurt my feelings. I was like, oh my god, like I don't know, I just felt kind of embarrassed. It was more of an embarrassing moment. So I basically I remember that day, like that next day, or I don't know if it was that weekend, but I had told Nathaniel about it, and I was like, I don't know, I feel like I'm a bother there, like I'm not cleaning right. I feel like stressed because I'm working for the first time in ever. And like I'm just like not comfortable to eat there, because I think at one point they did tell Nathaniel like, hey, like why isn't Fettel here?
Yeah.
So like I felt like I was just like doing things that were pissing them off. So I'm like, why am I here? You know, like I felt like me driving the Mustang was making her angry, like me not cleaning right, like not even that it was me not cleaning right, but I just felt like I couldn't do anything right.
No, yeah, you felt like like basically you felt like you had to tiptoe again, you know? You felt like
Yeah,
you
like
didn't want to tiptoe, you wanted to be somewhere where like you weren't gonna be judged.
yeah, I felt like I was constantly being judged, and that is the way that is your mom's humor. She's very like she finds humor in like, you know, like like
No, yeah,
here's this, here's
like
that, like
no, keep in mind, we're okay now and we talk shit now.
yeah.
You know?
Now I know how she is. You know what I mean? Like I know
we
the
talk shit now
jokes.
to this day.
Yeah, I
I
know
make
the
fun of her. You know,
jokes.
it's like that's the humor in it. But at the time though, like for someone
It was
that's
like my first time ever being
Yeah.
around them that much. So like for me, like I'm like, oh my god, like why is she saying that? But like now I'm like, bruh. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not paying that damn fucking insurance. Like he's gonna pay it, and I'm still gonna whip it.
No, yeah.
But like at that time, like I kind of got hurt. So when me and Nathaniel had a conversation about it, like Nathaniel's like, she's just humorous like that. Like that's just her joking. And I'm like, no, but like it's too much already. Like I feel like it's too much. Like I hate hearing like, oh my god, this car about this car, and then this about this, and then this and this, and then this and this. So I had already was like, I was over it, and I told them I was like, I want to move back to my mom's. Like, and I cried because I was so frustrated and just so fed up with just everything, working, trying to like have not seeing him in so long, and then just feeling like I wasn't doing anything right there. I was just like, I'm ready to just go. Like I just screw saving money for the house.
You're like screw the house too. I just want to
Like I just want to go back.
emotionally. You just want to be like healthy, you know?
Yeah, I was drained. I was tired. I was fed up. Like I was like I had enough. And so Nathaniel was like, okay, like
Yeah, I
like
was on board.
like
I was like, that's
we'll go
understandable.
back. We'll go back. So that day he texts his mom.
I told her that, hey, yeah, I think it's time. I think we're gonna go ahead and move back.
Yeah,
That's
he
like
wrote like a big old paragraph though.
I told like yeah, I try to be obviously like I try to be nice about it and the most like calmest way about it. I just said, you know, hey, I don't think it's working out, mom. We're just gonna go back to living with Veronica's mom, and that's pretty much it. Like, there's no hard feelings. We just wanna be somewhere where we're both 100% comfortable. You know.
Yeah, and so I think his mom took it kind of like,
No, she took it
how
like.
are you not comfortable here? I haven't done anything to you guys. Like, and then she's like, you like,
And it made me like her telling me that, like her saying like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong, made me have to tell her what she did wrong. You know, it made me have to give all the examples, and her not and for me telling her all those examples, she was not understanding, and she thought that it was basically a bullshit excuse, and it made her come out and be like, if you want to leave, just say that, and it, you know how that goes, and it just exploded. So from there on, that's when shit hit the fan real hard. She forced me to step up and like speak my mind.
Yeah, so right after that, everything fell. Like
Everything
everything,
fell,
like
hit the fan,
everything hit
and
the fan. Because keep in mind, he was driving her
her
car
car,
because
yeah.
it was under her name, and
Even
it
though I
was
was
just
paying the
like
payments,
our phones were under her name.
a lot of shit hit the fan. You'll find out.
A lot of things, guys. So we're gonna have to talk to you guys about that in the next episode because it's just going to get juicier, crazier. But this is kind of what defined our relationship and what made us stronger, I believe. Close out the video by myself because Della started crying. But yeah, so definitely come back for the next episode because it does get a little bit crazier. But it is our life. This is not to attack anybody or anything like that because we genuinely love everybody. And the situation that it was beforehand, before talking, learning how to communicate and all of that, like, it sucked, but it's what made us us. Like, now we can all actually have a conversation together. If I say something that hurts them, their feelings, or if we do something that hurts their feelings, they feel comfortable enough to talk to us, and then vice versa. Like, if there's something wrong, we talk to them. Like, it's no longer an issue because we've kind of learned and how to address each other now. So yeah, guys, make sure you guys come back for the next episode because there we're gonna talk about how it defined our relationship. Like, this whole situation made us stronger. First it broke us and then it made us stronger. So we're gonna explain more and get more into depth next episode. So we'll see you guys next Friday at 7 p.m. Bye, guys.